Hello St James, it's Mr. Parslow here for our worship again this week. Before I get into it, I think we should start with our opening candle prayer. So I've got my matches here. Lord Jesus, we light this candle to remind us that you are here with us. Help us always to remember that you are the light of the earth, and help us to shine with your light throughout the days of our lives. Amen. This is it. This is the end of our virtual school and probably our last virtual worship. Unless something really crazy happens, this will be the last time because in September we get to come back. We'll still finish some time with our current year groups because we'll catch up a little bit and see each other before moving on to the next academic year. But unless something weird happens, then this will be it for the virtual school. And this might well be the last time I get a chance to talk to all of you. It'll be my last virtual worship. I want to say I'm really thankful and really grateful that I've had the opportunity to do this. I'm glad that I've been able to talk to you. It's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and to be able to talk about the Bible and talk about God and talk about questions that you guys have is very exciting to me, and I know that I'm lucky to have had the opportunity. And I'm really grateful to you guys and of course to Mr. Payne and the teachers that have let me do this. It's very fortunate. I've also appreciated your emails that you've sent me and the conversations I've had with the people who are on site with me. It's been a real excellent time for me, and I'm very, very lucky. You're going to find a slightly different worship today, or you'll recognize many of the things. We did the candle prayer, we'll do a closing candle prayer, we'll do a song, I'll talk to you, I'll read to you from the Bible. But I've done something ever so slightly different today, and you'll see what I mean in a moment. But I want to let you know that Mr. Payne does a lot of excellent work, and I'm never going to try pulling off a video like this again. I'm going to let the experts do it, and I'm sure you'll all understand when we get to the end why this has been different. But allow me to read from the Bible before I get distracted, so you can get some understanding of what we are talking about in worship today. I'm reading from well, admittedly, one of my favourite books of the Bible, but one of the books that I wouldn't normally recommend to beginners because it's quite a weird book. It's the book of Ecclesiastes. It was written by King Solomon, who was a very wise and clever king, but his story is an interesting one because he was set up by God. He came after David, and he was really, really good. And then he kind of went a bit mad, and he did lots and lots of silly things. And then he came and turned around and went back to God again. And this is a book that he writes about often the kind of crazy stuff that he did in the time when he wasn't following God's plan properly, and the things that he learnt from it. And he was known as a very wise king. Back in the time, he was considered the wisest man on earth, and still some people believe that might be true. And it may well be that he was the wisest human being in the world. And he wrote lots of interesting stuff, but it's just a bit weird, and you need to make sure you understand the context of it when you read it. But this bit, I think, is quite simple for us, and I shall read it to you. It's from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and it's verses 3 to 5. Oh no, so 4 to 5. There we are. There is a time for sorrow and a time for joy, a time for mourning and a time for dancing, a time for love and a time for hate, a time for kissing and a time for not kissing. Or in the translation I had in my other book, a time for embracing and a time for not embracing. It's talking about times that we have in our lives. Times where we can celebrate and have fun, as well as times that are less fun, times that are harder and sadder. And we've had a time of, the word mourning there is where you grieve, where you feel sad for something that is lost. And it says we've had our time for mourning because we've all spent 3 months apart, and it's been very painful for a lot of us. Painful for me, certainly, and I know a bunch of you as well, and we've mourned that. Now, I've been sad, but I've also had the opportunity to speak. And I know a lot of you have been missing friends and family, and that was a time of mourning. There was a time for sorrow, which we've just had. And there's been a time where we're not allowed, the other translation I had says embrace, we weren't allowed to touch each other, and that was a difficult thing. We couldn't high five, fist bump, or hug. Embracing means hugging, by the way, for those of you that don't know. That was a time that we've been living through. Eventually, obviously, that will change, and we'll have a time where we can hug again. But I'm letting you know that we can still have joy even if it's still not the time for hugging at the moment. We can still dance even if it's not the time for hugging at the moment. And we can still celebrate and enjoy one another's company even if we can't see each other directly. And that's what the worship is about. We've had the time to be sad, and it was right to be sad, and it still is right to be sad about things. But it's important for us to remember the things that we can enjoy. And we have had an incredible year. Even though some of it hasn't been exactly what we had planned, quite obviously, that doesn't mean it hasn't been incredible. Even before lockdown, we were doing a whole range of incredible things, amazing things. You guys worked hard. You did preparation for exams. Those of you in year 2 and 6 go through SATs this year. And you've been working and learning. Many of you have learnt to write new things. Those of you in early years have learnt to write names and have learnt to count. Those of you who are in the higher school have encountered things that you've never even thought of before. You've learnt in a massive range of things. We've done excellent school trips. Our sports teams have done very well as well. I'm not much of a sports person, and you all know that. It's quite famous that I'm not much of a sports person, but that doesn't mean I'm not impressed by our teams and what they've accomplished and how it's good that we can work as a group like that. We've also had residential trips. Year 6 and year 4 have gone out and they've spent time away from families. For some of you, that will be the first time you've ever done it, and you did it really, really well, and we had good times together. We've done class worships that were amazing, and we lost quite a few in these last few months, but that doesn't mean that the ones before weren't spectacular. And obviously, you couldn't mention this year, and no one will mention this year ever again without mentioning the COVID virus and the lockdown that we've been in and the things that we have had to do. And you guys, as children in our school, have excelled. You've taught yourselves things when you couldn't access your teachers as much. You've shown great enthusiasm for your work, and you've shown a good ability to adapt to new things. The teachers as well have learned how to teach in a new way, and the parents, I know there are parents watching this, you guys have worked so hard doing something that you were never expecting to do. You've had to become teachers and work your jobs and have your children at home all day. And I know that it's been tough, but I'm sure it's been a delight as well. We know from some of the videos that we've seen that there has been plenty of the dancing and the hugging and the joy that this Bible verse is talking about in your homes. And it's good that you've taken the opportunity to celebrate even when times are quite rough and difficult. So well done, parents, well done, children, and well done, staff. You've had an incredible year and you cannot deny it. Anyone who does, I'll fight. It's an incredible year, and you should be proud of yourselves. There's another verse I'm going to read, still from Ecclesiastes, but before that I've just reminded one of the shortest verses in the Bible, not the shortest verse, the shortest verse is Jesus wept, which is good to remember in times of mourning that Jesus is there with us. But the second shortest verse in the Bible is it's just this, it's rejoice always, and rejoice means to live with joy, live with happiness. It says even when things are bad, you should be celebrating. And that's a really, I need to look up where it's from. It's one of the New Testament letters, Thessalonians or something. I'll confirm that and maybe I'll attach it in the message. But it's a really important verse to remember that we can still celebrate. But allow me to read another verse from Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiastes 2, verse 24. The best thing anyone can do is eat and drink and enjoy their labor. And I realize that even this comes from God. How else can we have anything to eat or to enjoy if you did it yourself? Labor, by the way, is work. And the guy who wrote this Bible, Solomon, this book of the Bible, Solomon is saying that what more can we expect in life than to be able to eat, drink, and enjoy what we have worked for? We work hard, and you've worked really hard, and we're going to take the opportunity now to celebrate that. We're going to sing Conquerors at the end, although it's not the end yet. I'm just telling you now because of the way I formatted this video. Because that's a song about us overcoming things that are tough and still being able to celebrate. It's a fun song, it's lively and it's active and you can dance to it. What I want you to do after you've finished with this worship is take the opportunity to celebrate. Maybe you've done some of the other work, maybe you've got things set from your teachers, I don't know, but you take the chance at some point today, some point this week, in fact, just do it every day. Take the chance to have a little bit of a party with your friends and family, those that you can see. Spend some time celebrating with them, the things that are worth celebrating. It's time, I think, to enjoy the fruits of our labor. It's time to enjoy what we've worked so hard for. And this is the last day of the academic year. You have worked really hard for a long time, and you're about to get a big long holiday that you've earned and you deserve. So now is the time to have a big proper party, and not just celebrating and dancing and singing, which I always recommend. The Bible tells us we should sing and dance. But maybe it's also a time to congratulate other people, to celebrate with them. Message some of your friends, message some of the people you think have done really, really well today. If you know someone who struggled but come out the other side, maybe a family member who was ill, or maybe there was a situation with work, or maybe you know someone in your class who really struggled not being able to see people, but you know that they've done really well. Message them, contact them, and let them know that you're celebrating with them. The Bible tells us not to stop meeting together and to share in each other's joy, and that's what we're going to do. Because we're doing this, and there's a lot of us that want to say how proud we are, and I know a lot of you will too, I contacted the other staff all over the school, and I asked them what they wanted to celebrate. And a bunch of them have been able to get together, and they've made recordings, or they've sent me videos or pictures of things that they're proud of. And I've put together this a little chunk of what they've done for you guys to watch and enjoy and hear from some of the other teachers. This is the thing I was talking about, which you should be very proud of, Mr. Payne, because my goodness, I thought I was making my job easier by getting other people to do it, but actually it turns out it's a lot harder to edit a bunch of videos together. But I've left a video now where the other teachers are going to talk to you, and after that I'll come back for the closing candle prayer. Enjoy.
Hello Dolphins, I just want to say a massive well done for this year. I'm hugely impressed with everything that you've achieved this year. You've done so many amazing things like the Nativity, we've seen loads of visitors, we went to the library. I am proud of every single one of you. We cannot wait to see you again in September. Miss Lees, Mrs. Chad and myself are so looking forward to welcoming you through the doors for a few weeks. Have a lovely summer and catch up with you soon. Bye.
My terrific turtles, I am so proud of you. You have been shown great kindness, enthusiastic ideas, and just been phenomenal throughout the whole of virtual school. It has been a pleasure to be your teacher. I'm really, really proud of you. Great job, guys.
Hi Stingrays, I am so proud of you for everything you've achieved throughout the year 2, but particularly proud of you for what you've achieved throughout the virtual school. You haven't given up and you've continued to be the hard-working year 2s that I know and love, so thank you for that. You've also kept me smiling throughout lockdown, and that is something I will never forget. Thank you.
Hello Team St James, I just wanted to share some reasons why I'm so proud of my shark class this year. So far this year you have been environmentalists, you have been superheroes, you have been circus performers, sweetie makers and even time travellers. You have been passionate and creative and kind and enthusiastic, and by no means has that ended since virtual school began. In fact, I've seen this and so much more, including adaptability and some serious enthusiasm for your learning. I know that we all miss each other, really, lots and tons, but I know that you guys have the resilience to keep going and know that when we all see each other again, it's going to be fantastic.
Hi Year 3, come to the end of another great year, and we just want to say a huge thank you to all of you. You've been truly amazing, right back from when you first started in our year, and we just want to tell you how much we appreciate you. Thank you so much for behaving so beautifully all year. You're a real credit to us, especially when we take you out of school. Thank you also for the wonderful worships that you've done. They were the highlight of our year, and well done to the boys football team who played. Thank you, have a lovely summer, bye.
Hi St James's, there's some things that I'm really proud of and want to celebrate about year 4 and what they get up to and how brilliant they were over the time we were in school and out of school. One main thing I absolutely loved was our debating when we did it about deforestation. Some of you were animal right activists, some of you were loggers, and there were so many other positions we had, and you really got into it. All of year 4 showed such a passion, and it was really brilliant to see you all get into your debating shoes, into a real debating chamber. And we even looked at Parliament, and loads of you showed such a good understanding of that. Another thing I'm really proud of year 4 for, and I want to celebrate, is the bush tucker trial we did. And Miss Slattery and I made lots of boxes and buckets with yucky things in that you couldn't see, and you had to guess what they were. And I remember year 4 were quite nervous about this, a lot of them about putting their hands in the buckets, and some of them were really upset and scared, but all of them put their hands in eventually and overcame their fears. And that is something I'm really proud of, for going into the unknown. And that links to our virtual schooling, that we have been in the unknown for so long now, but actually I know all of year 4 have been so resilient, and I'm sure the rest of the school have too, and how much you showed your courage and bravery during this time, and that's something you should be proud of, and I'm proud of myself for that as well. So give yourself a pat on the back for how fantastic you've been.
Hi Year 5 and all of St James's. Just wanted to pop in to say how proud I am of you all. You are working so hard in these strange and wonderful times that we find ourselves in. Yeah, keep going. You got this.
I just wanted to say a really big well done to the Year 6s that came back to the Parslow school. I really loved working with you, and I especially loved it when we did our wave pictures. You're a really talented bunch. I'm going to really miss you guys. Bye.
When I look back over this year, there have been so many opportunities for me to feel really proud of Year 6, not least the highlight going to Calshot on our residential. There were so many times when I witnessed someone really push through past their fears, conquer something that they've been really scared about, from riding a bike in the velodrome with no brakes when maybe previously they hadn't even actually been able to ride a bike, or standing at the top of an abseiling wall looking down and pushing themselves to take that step over, or just simply being away from home and conquering their homesickness. It's such a privilege to be a part of that, and I'm so proud of you all, Year 6. You were fantastic at Calshot, and it's just a pleasure to be there with you. Ordinarily I would stop there, but this year I can't stop without also mentioning your reaction to this strange period we find ourselves in of lockdown, and the way that we've had to respond to this pandemic. You have amazed me, guys. You have been amazing and brilliant. Your resilience, your ability to adapt to the way that we've had to change the way we're doing things, the way you've supported one another, looked out for each other, and continued to work, and just tried your best, has been brilliant. I look forward to hearing about your progress as you move on from St James and all that you will get up to, and I'm sure we'll continue to be immensely proud of you. Well done, guys. A great reason to celebrate.
It takes a virus for us to see the best and worst in humanity. We're greedy, we care, we're hopeful, we despair. We're all just shops are empty and so are the streets, once full of friends and people to meet. But we're only ghosts now in a ghost town, living life through our windows, waiting till we see the sun. But everything passes in time, and the world may seem crazy, but we'll be alright if we just have hope, if we just have hope. Isolated, but we stick together. Hold on tight, this won't last forever. Although the big bad wolves come knocking at the door, and we've watched the walls tumble and this house built of straw. But everything passes in time, and the world may seem crazy, but we'll be alright if we just have hope, if we just have hope. And in the quiet I can hear the birds for the first time in a while. So in this darkness there are still reasons to smile. Because everything passes in time, and the world may seem crazy, but we'll be alright if we just have hope, if we just have hope, if we just have hope.
Wasn't that great? There's obviously a lot more. Some of the staff didn't manage to make it into the video because of technical problems with the video editing or time issues, just because it takes so long to do. But I want to assure you all that every single member of staff, every adult in this school, it wants to tell you how proud they are. We want to say, oh, I'm going to do it in sign language. We want to say that we miss you. We're proud of you. And we love you. Let us close with our closing candle prayer. May the lightness of God be with you. May the brightness of God be with you. May he smile on all you do. God bless you. Amen.